Hi, welcome to CHeri Knits. I love knitting and I want you to love it too. When I learned how to cable without a cable needle, it was so much fun and I'm excited to share that with you. Let's get started. Let's take a look at how to do a cable without a cable needle. This is pretty fun. This is a pretty fun technique to learn. And yeah, let's get started. So what you're going to do, we've got two different cables, two very basic cables. One is leaning to the right, one is leaning to the left. And these are 2x2 cables. So we have a total of 4 stitches involved in the actual cable. Let's knit across to where that cable needs to happen. And let's just think about this for a minute. If we want to do a cable and we were using a cable needle, to do a right leaning cable, you would put the 2 stitches right at the front of the needle onto a cable needle, slip them off, and work these next 2 stitches. So what we need to do is get these 2 stitches ahead of these. So I'm going to grab those 2 stitches from the third and fourth stitches from the right to the left. Just grab them. Use the index finger and thumb of my right hand to pinch the first and second stitch. And I'm going to take them off and take those 2 off. Now these are safe, they're fine, they're on a needle. And what I want to do now is reposition those stitches on the needle so that what had been the first 2 stitches are now going to be the last stitches, the last 2 stitches. And then put those back over. And then knit across them. So you're repositioning and then knitting them in the order that will make them cross. Pretty fancy, huh? So let's go ahead and knit to the next cable. Same thing, it's a right leaning cable. And so in order to make that happen, we need to get these 2 stitches to the front and on the other side of these. So take the tip of the left needle and grab those 2 stitches from right to left, just through the fronts of them. Make sure as you take everything off that you're pinching these 2 stitches underneath this needle. You're actually pinching them below. Can't really see it when I've got the needle in front of it, but I'm actually pinching the fabric, sliding all 4 things off. Then with the tip of the left needle, go through those stitches that are just hanging out there, and then pull these to the front. I think that's really fun. And then you could knit them. And just in case something got twisted, just take a good look at those last stitches and make sure you didn't lose any yarn or they're not twisted. Excellent. So those are our right leaning cables. Let's look at the left leaning cables. This we want the first 2 stitches to come to the front and down. So now what we need to do is go to the back and go behind the 3rd and 4th stitches and grab those from right to left, behind. And I'm going to stick my needle in there so they're nice and secure. And then again, using the index finger and thumb of my right hand, pinch the fabric below those 2 stitches. And now I'm going to enter those 2 stitches with the needle in my left hand and come around and just pop those right back up on the needle. And when you knit across, you will create your cable. And this is the left leaning cable. And once you understand how that works, you can take any cable that is in your pattern and make it happen without a cable needle. It's actually often a lot faster than using the cable needle because you don't have to find your cable needle. You don't have to worry about where you're going to store it, set it down, pick it up. You can just do the cable. Every once in a while, I'll come across a cable that is kind of tricky and it is easier to use a cable needle. So I always have one in my knitting bag, but more often than not, especially for these simple cables, I just skip that cable needle altogether. So again, for this left leaning cable, we want to not take anything from the front, but we have to go behind because we want these first 2 stitches to come to the front and over here. So from behind, I'm just scooping up from right to left, the 3rd and 4th stitches in that cable, pinching the fabric with my index finger and thumb of my right hand, and then repositioning those stitches. And then you get to knit across them. And you have just learned something magical, how to cable without a cable needle. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you found this technique as fun and exciting as I did. Please click the links below and keep in touch on social media and check out my Ravelry patterns and also check out my courses. Thanks.